Honorable Men Discord. Rest in peace, D'Angelo. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And it's not necessary to comment on this because I just wanted to acknowledge the life of D'Angelo. Let me first say I appreciate everyone who has been showing love to my recent reel with the Stevie Wonder art by David. You can look him up. I put his information. You can look him up on Instagram. He's an artist from a tattoo artist from Ecuador that I've been working with. But I appreciate the love on that reel. You know, I don't want any moment that I have of viral moments when I'm in the thousands of views. I appreciate it. I really do. So I don't want it to go unacknowledged. So I thank everyone who hit that the hearts and stuff like that and actually viewed it. I appreciate you all. But yeah, this episode is going to be short. It's nothing long. I just wanted to acknowledge D'Angelo, the artist, the man. When he passed, like many of you all, it was a shock because I didn't even know he was going through something. But it's understandable because life comes before your artistry. So when real things happen to real people, even if they're entertainers, it's understandable that they stay private in those moments. And so many of us, we didn't know that he was battling cancer. And it's just a constant reminder for men and for women, take care of yourself. See have your annual appointments. Just stay on top of your health. But also, aside from that, make sure you're out there really living life. Don't procrastinate. If there's anything that you want to do, get to it. Because you just don't know when you're going to go. 51 is not old. And I know for those of you in your 20s, you're like, oh, that's old. But it's not old. He should still be around with us, enjoying time with his family, enjoying creating music, and just living this life. This is a precious life. And one thing that we should take from death, witnessing death and experiencing death, is that tomorrow is not promised. We don't know how we're going to go, but I'm not telling you to go out there and live life worried about how you're going to go out, but just take advantage of the fact that you're here. I've been to enough funerals in my lifetime to know that tomorrow is not promised, which is why I do my best to enjoy the life that I have, the life that I was given, the life that I'm blessed to have, and just understand that having life is a blessing. All right. For those of you that may be taking this life for granted, there was a drill artist in the Bronx that was recently gunned down after a visit to his parole officer, and he was gunned down. And you wouldn't think something like that would happen when you're around law enforcement. It was just outside the doors of the office in the Bronx. So just remember that tomorrow's not promised. Go out there and live your life, in all caps, like I like to say. But as far as D'Angelo's concerned, I just wanted to acknowledge the impact he had when he first came out. So for me, and some of you all, the first time I heard him was the song Brown Sugar from his first album titled by the same name. And it was a smooth record. He came with his own style, his own swag. He came out, it was sort of like a jazz tune, very slow and mellow, and I loved it. He also had Lady, the All My Lady song, which was a great record. But then, for me, his second memorable moment, which back then, they didn't have social media back then, but is when he did the album Voodoo. And he had the video where he appeared like he was nude. And that went viral. for back then. It went viral for back then. The women were going crazy for the video. For me, I don't know about any of you men that are watching this episode. For me, it was a reminder, listen, get in the gym. Because the women's reaction off of seeing D'Angelo shirtless and presumably, or the way they tried to make it appear as though he was nude, it had a huge reaction to that video. Back then, it was like groundbreaking, because who did a video like that? I can't think of anyone that did a video like that. And for that reason, I want to say that was a hit. But for me, it just motivated me to stay in shape, because when I saw the way my sisters reacted and the women that followed his music, they were going crazy for it. So I remember him for that. And then years later, I also remember him for his appearance on the soundtrack for Belly, which was a movie that featured Nas and DMX. And for those of you that follow this channel, Nas is my favorite rapper. So, the soundtrack was a good soundtrack. It had Method Man was on there. He was also in the movie as well. But D'Angelo had a song on the soundtrack, which was unique in its nature. I believe it was called Devil's Pie. And that was another standout moment for me as a fan of music and a listener of D'Angelo. Was Devil's Pie. So, again, this episode was just to acknowledge the life of a great artist. He played his instruments. I believe he played the piano, and I want to say he played the guitar also, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I know he played the piano. But it's sad, but it's a constant reminder, as we get older. And it's funny thing is, I know the younger generation, when you start talking your age, you're like, oh, he's old, Just keep in mind, for those of you that are part of my younger audience, it's a blessing, one, to be alive, and it's a blessing to continue to age in this life. I know it may not seem that way in the moment when you experience hardships, you experience loss, but it is a blessing. So that whole thing about people being old, that's not it's not an attack. It's nothing to feel down about, because there's people that didn't make it to their older age, so just take from this what you will, but rest in peace, D'Angelo. My condolences to his family, his friends, and his legacy will live on through his music. Just the other day, I at home, I decided to play a couple of his records. By the way, my sister brought to my attention, I didn't even know, he wrote a record that was on the Jason's Lyric soundtrack. And I used to have that CD soundtrack, and I know the record. I don't recall the title of the song, but I know, excuse me, I know, I'm forgetting this artist's name. But it had a few star-studded appearances. I think Gerald Levert was on it. And I'm forgetting the other artists' names. But that record was a powerful record. I think it's You Will Know. And it's, again, a testament of who D'Angelo was as a man. And another reason why I'm acknowledging D'Angelo is because that song, that record in itself is a testament to why he was an honorable man, And again, being an honorable man, for me, doesn't mean that you're perfect. If anything, it means that you strive to be honorable in your day-to-day walk in this life. As long as you're striving towards positivity, I see that as being honorable. And I encourage you, those of you watching this, to strive to be more positive than negative. Be a light, like I mentioned before. Be more of a light than a representation of darkness. Because there's a lot of darkness in this world. I don't have to tell you about it. You see it for yourself. You watch the news. You see what it's like in certain communities. There's a lot of darkness and evil out there. And the biggest takeaway I want from this episode and from my channel in general is to be a light. There's more than enough darkness in this world, and I encourage all of you watching to be a light, which is why when I took my time putting together the reel using Stevie Wonder, I just thought it was necessary to put out positive energy out there, because we know when we're searching through various social media, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, so on and so forth, there's a lot of negative images out there. And I'll be honest, not all my images are necessarily positive. Well, for the most part, I would say my images are positive, but I don't want to make this about me. All I'm saying is be a light out there. All right? You don't have to be a perfect man. We're all flawed to some degree. But as you continue to age, and as you're out there in this world, let the image that people see of you be positive. All right? It's okay to be a positive person. All this negativity, and it's, to me, it's depressing. It's depressing. It's drowning. It's destroying. Which is why I use Stevie Wonder. First of all, which is why I got Stevie Wonder. That's art that I got on my leg. I'm working on my leg artwork, my leg tattoos. But that's why I chose the record, and that's why I chose it in a cappella form, because I wanted the lyrics to shine through. Because the world could use some Stevie Wonder. But listen, again, rest in peace, D'Angelo. I don't want to ramble. May he rest in peace. Again, condolences to his family, his friends, and all his loved ones. He was a gift to this world, and he will never be forgotten. But as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And again, I appreciate all of you for the little things that you do, which mean a lot to me. Like liking the reels, liking the episodes, commenting. I appreciate all of that. None of it goes unnoticed. All right? So, as always, stay honorable.